Welcome, Academians! Today we will create this beautiful parallaxing website using HTML, CSS and vanilla JavaScript. If you want more educative content like this, hit the subscribe button below. Let's fire up our editor and jump right into it. Okay, so let's see our starter project. We have a directory with images that I prepared, and we will use this to create this awesome website. You can find the link to the starting state of the project in the description below. Let's get started. Open this directory in VS Code, or the editor of your choice. Okay. We see our images, which are really nice. Let's start by creating an index.html file. Cool. Now we create a basic HTML structure. You can write doc if you're using VS Code and hit enter to generate this boilerplate. Now we have our base HTML. Let's open it up with live server. Let's change our title to midnight and hit save. We see it changed, so we're good. If you don't have live server, go to extensions, type in live server and install this one. It's a pretty useful, you will use it all the time. So let's start by creating a section for our images and create image tags for all our images in the image folder. So we're gonna include our moon image. You can duplicate the line holding Shift, Alt, and down arrow and create all the images that we need. So first we have the moon. We will have a road PNG and we will have a sky. And what else we have? We have the mountains. Cool. Let's add some IDs to it. I will give them matching IDs corresponding to their name. So this will be a road. This will be sky. And this will be mountains. Okay. So if we hit save and check out our website, it looks really dumb actually. So let's apply some CSS to make it look better. We will add a CSS file. Let's create this. Should be style.css. First, I'd like to get rid of the basic paddings and margins of the browsers. So let's do that first. Okay. Now let's add some styles to the body. We will give it a minimum height of 100 viewport height and give it a max width of 100 viewport width. Now let's add some styles to our section. So we will give it a position relative. We give it width 100% and height 100%. Miss the T here. We will apply overflow hidden. And we will use flexbox to center the section, so everything in the section. Now let's add some styles to the images. First we will select each image in our section. We will position them absolutely. Give them left 0, top 0. We will make them full screen with width 100% and height 100%. Use object fit cover, and we're gonna deny all pointer events so they won't react to any clicks. Save everything and let's see what we have in our browser. Well, it's not so nice, but it's actually getting together. Okay, so now we're going to align the layers of the absolute positioned images. So we will use the IDs that we gave to our images to modify the z-index and therefore the layer position. For example, for the road, we can give a z-index 3, for example. For mountain, we use z-index of 1. For the sky, we will use z-index 0. And for the moon, we use the z-index 1. Let's hit save. So now you can see the layer positions are really good right now, because we have the sky at the background. After the sky we have the mountains and the moon. They are on the same z-index and the road is in the foreground. So we have done it successfully. The one thing that we have to do is that this mountain should be a little bit lower. So we will adjust that using CSS. So we will give it top 150 pixels. So it actually was mountains. And let's add top 150 pixel to make it appear a little lower. Okay, so we push down the mountains. What we have to do is to add the color layer on the top of each our image layer to make it look a little bit consistent. We're gonna use section after with no content. We're gonna position this absolute. Let's say top 0, left 0, and we will make it 100% width and 100% tall. Background, let's pick a nice blue color. Let's see if this one works. Okay, we place it on top of everything with z-index 5, and we will use mix blend mode. Use color, so this color will blend with the color of the images. Let's see how it looks. Well, this looks a little bit too purplish. So let's change the color. I found out that this color would be great. Yeah, it's much nicer. It's kind of a lighter blue. gives this moonlight effect. Okay, now let's add a new font. We will use Roboto. So go to Google, the Roboto Google font, and we will use the regular 400 and maybe the black 900. Go to embed, and we will copy this link and paste it into our HTML's head. Cool. Now we can use Roboto. So we go to the body and append font family Roboto. Okay. So now let's go to our index.html and create another section and create an H1 here which says midnight, and below that we will have a paragraph. For this paragraph we will use a placeholder text. So let's search for lorem ipsum. We will generate 5 paragraphs. Let's copy this and paste it to our paragraph. Hit save. Okay, it looks weird now, but we will fix this, no problem. Okay. Oh, one thing I forgot is that we have to add our midnight text into the first section. So let's do it right now. We will use an H1 here, and we will create an ID for it. Let's create the styles for our midnight text. Let's go to styles. We will add midnight. Okay, so we will use position relative to position our text. We will use a white color. For font size, I think we should go with something like 12 rem. For z index we should use 2, so it will be below the road and before the mountains. It will be good. We want this effect. Okay, so our text is in the middle right now, but we want it to be below the road, so we will have to push it down a little bit. So let's do it right now, because we want the effect of the text rising from below the road to the interior of the mountains. We can do it by simply giving it a top value, which I think 120 pixels should be enough. Yeah, it's totally gone. It's maybe somewhere here. What we can do now is to use vanilla JavaScript to modify these based on the scrolling. So what we will need is a JavaScript file. So let's add our JavaScript before the closing tag of the body. We will use an src, and we will use index.js. Cool. Now let's create this file. First we will create a variable for the moon, and we will get our DOM object with our getElementById, and we will use our moon ID to get our image node. Okay, duplicate this holding down Shift, Alt, and down arrow. Use the mountains. Let's select the sky also. do it for the road. And we will need another one for our text, which I'll call midnight. We will add an event listener to the scroll event. So whenever the user scrolls, this function will fire. We will save the scroll y value from the window object with this structuring. So when the user scrolls, we want to modify the top and the left value of these nodes. What we can do is, for example, we can use the road. We can get its style dot top and make it equal to, for example, 0.5 multiplied by the value of scroll y, and we concatenate it with pixels. Let's see this effect in action. So you can see that the road is moving on a different scrolling speed than the other images, and we will use this to create this parallaxing effect to make it look like a false 3D. Okay, let's do with the others. So we have road, mountains, moon, sky, and midnight. Okay, so for the road, we will be happy with the scrolling speed. Let's see our mountain. For our mountain, I would like to go with a slower speed, for example, 0.05. Let's see it in action. You can see that there's a kind of jump if I reload this page. It actually jumps a little bit because we haven't modified it with the value that we provided to the mountain to have a value of top 150 pixels. So we have to add this to this value. So it will be look like this. Okay. Now you can see it flows beautifully. So let's go with our moon. With the moon, we don't want to modify the top value, but we want to modify the left value. So it will move on the sides. Maybe go with 1.1. Let's check it out. As you can see, it go to the right, creating this cool effect. So for the sky, we want to move it upwards. So we will use a negative value and maybe a little bit faster than the moon. It should be 1.2. Let's see if it works. So with our midnight, we have the same problem that we have with mountain. So we have to add the basic 120 that we provided in the CSS to this. We want it to be faster, something like 1.5, and make it a negative value because we want it to scroll upwards instead of downwards. Let's see how it works. Okay, it looks really great. For the midnight text to have these cool shadows, if we can add CSS to it, you can copy it from the GitHub repository, but I will show where I got this from. Type in text shadow. Go for this, the HTML CSS JS.com. There are some really good text shadows that you can use. Feel free to choose anything, but I will use this one, the blocks one. We're gonna copy this code, go to our CSS, search for the midnight, and apply this text shadow. Hit save, check out our website. Wow. It looks really great. Okay. So we're done with the parallax scrolling effect. The last thing we have to do is to make this a little bit beautiful. Make this bottom section a little bit beautiful. We won't do much that, just add a little CSS. Give this section a class, which should be, for example, welcome. Go into styles, get our new class. We will make the color white. We're gonna use width 100%. Say display flex. Actually, just copy the centering from here. Select our title inside this section and make it bigger. This should do. Add some padding to the left and right. For the paragraph, we will see margin top 50 pixels. We use a font weight of normal. Use a line height of 106 and apply the same paddings. Okay, one thing that we can do is to add flex direction column here.
Thank you for watching till the end of this video. If you found it useful or learned anything new, please consider subscribing to this channel. You can also drop a like if you wish and leave feedback in the comment section below. I see you folks in the next video.